The fourth quarter has been a busy time with the announcement of the Canon C50 cinema camera, the Canon EOS R6 Mark III, and the Sony a7 IV. The next two Sony cameras due for a refresh are the a7R6 and the FX3 Mark II, which are due in the first half of 2026. With a high likelihood, we will see one of these cameras in mid-February, on the heels of CB Plus in Yokohama, Japan. Rumors are circulating, but little has been verified. Please help us out by clicking subscribe. It means an awful lot to us and really does help get this channel noticed. And don't forget to tell your friends about us. Hi, I'm Simon. I love to scan the camera news and rumor sites, patent applications, and all the pro forums so that you don't have to. Now this video is all about Sony's next big announcement, the FX3 Mark II, although the a7R6 is also forecast in the first half, and we'll cover that off in a separate video. Some websites state that the FX3 Mark II will get a global shutter sensor, but we trace this leak back to AI-generated videos, and without validation, we don't take a global shutter sensor seriously. All Sony needs is to focus on improving readout speed without reducing low light performance. I'd rather see a backside illuminated sensor or a stack sensor for better dynamic range and low light performance. All Sony needs to do is focus on reducing readout speed without reducing low light performance. And in terms of a sensor, instead of a global shutter sensor, I'd rather see a backside illuminated or stack sensor, as it provides better dynamic range and low light performance, as we've still got a few issues with global shutter sensors. Now perhaps Sony's second version of their global shutter sensor might improve low light performance and dynamic range. We can expect that Sony will enhance the FX3 Mark II's design, possibly featuring improved ergonomics, a more rugged weather-sealed build, and even a fanless cooling system for quieter operation. And sure, it all makes sense, and it's generalized enough that, well, we can't really argue with it. But getting back to the sensor, the Sony FX2 allegedly will have a 24 megapixel full-frame sensor with open gate on a 3:2 aspect ratio sensor. Open gate is a common feature on modern cinema cameras and even on hybrid cameras, stills and video cameras. But Sony has said multiple times that features like false color, EL zone, and open gate don't get used much, so Sony doesn't see a lot of value in implementing them. And there's no doubt that that actually does come from a Sony rep. We've actually had multiple quotes very similar to this from various Sony staffers, and well, what isn't known is the context. Are they referring to alpha cameras like the upcoming, well, it's already been announced, we've got to just start shipping it, the Sony a7 IV? Or are they talking about, well, cinema cameras? Now, some industry sources do claim that the FX3 Mark II could step up to either 6K or 8K video resolution, providing significantly enhanced detail. 8K? Well, that would be Sony stepping out of their comfort zone. Sure, we have 8K in the Sony a7 R5 and the Alpha 1, but no RAW, no higher frame rates, like we see with Nikon or Canon. And 8K oversample 4K would provide more detail and look better. I've been shooting with 8K for the past 5 or 6 years, and when I say 8K, well, 8K oversample 4K. But Sony could also increase the sensitivity of the photoelectric conversion device and the speed and efficiency of the image processor, and also improve the detail. I'd be surprised to see Sony deliver 8K video to the FX3. Surprised, as the FX6 doesn't deliver 8K video at $69.98. Surprised, because the FX9 also doesn't deliver 8K video, but at $10,998. And unlike Canon has done with the 5 series and cannibalizing their cinema line, Sony, well, they're not willing to cannibalize their higher priced cameras. If the FX3 Mark II is to get 8K video, it's only going to be after that 8K video shows up in the FX9 and then the FX6. And to help with detail, the Sony FX3 Mark II will get their new Bionz XR2 image processor that will have integrated AI that used to have its own dedicated processing chip. So far, I gotta say that these rumored specifications, well, aren't a whole lot to get excited about the Sony FX3 Mark II. But neither were the leaked specifications of the Sony a7 IV, until just about 2 weeks before the announcement. Sony's very good at keeping things, well, close to the chest, not letting things leak out. It was only after, well, I'd say about a year and a half of leaked and rumors that we actually knew what the A7 IV was to be. Only then did we get an accurate, detailed look at the camera, and sales of the Sony A7 V are showing that it's selling very well. Now, as we get closer to the announcement of the FX3 Mark II, we'll get a much better picture of what this camera is capable of. The first half of 2026 at this point, well, it's all we have. However, if you've overheard anything at all that you can share with us, anything you've overheard at a water cooler, at a trade show, or overhearing a conversation, then please email me at simondyates@gmail.com so I can share it with our viewers. Now, while this video has focused on what's coming in 2026 in terms of Sony in the first half, I want to draw your attention to some of the best sales that I've seen ever. And some of these match what we had this time last year, and some are better. I'm not sure which country you live in, but there's still, well, this thing to do with inflation and exchange rates that could cause prices to go even higher. So let me just give you a rundown of some of the best sales that I'm seeing in the United States and what you're likely to see in your own country, France, Britain, Germany, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. You're likely to see some sales as well, although it seems to be the US seems to get the best sales. Actually, that's not true because I just picked up the RF 10 to 20 millimeter and I got it for $500 off. And when I converted it to US dollars, this lens came in at, what was it, $1,900 US after taxes. So somewhere around, I guess, $1,800 or $1,750. And the US price is around $2,200. So for a change, once you take into the exchange rate, we're getting a better deal here in Canada, which is strange. Anyhow, so what are the best deals on right now? Well, the Nikon Z8 is $34.96. The Z9, their flagship, $51.96. The R5 Mark I, $25.99. The R5c, $29.99. Its best price ever. The Sony A7 R5 is $32.99. The A7 IV, $19.98. And taking a look at Panasonic, their GH7 is $17.97. And the S5 Mark II with their first ever face detect autofocus system, it's $14.97. And please use my affiliate links down below. I have links to B&H and Adorama in the United States, Wex Photo and Video in the UK, and Photocog in Europe. And these are just some of the deals on, like I said earlier, even lenses, we're seeing some incredible deals. This Nikon lens is $1,200 off. What a super deal. So thank you so much for watching. Please, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please go ahead and do so. It doesn't cost you anything, and it really does help this channel grow. It helps with the YouTube formula or the algorithm. And one more thing, if I might, as a Christmas present to me, tell your friends about this channel. Ask them to subscribe. Let's see if we can get this channel to 100,000 subscribers within the next year. Now, I know that's a tall order. I'm at around 63,000 right now. That's still a bit of a ways to go. And I don't know, I'd just like to get one of those plaques before they decide to say, nope, we're not giving them out anymore. You have to have at least 1 million subscribers. Anyhow, thank you so much for tuning in, for watching. Have yourself a great day. Happy Christmas, and we'll see you again soon.